Hey, welcome back to Mobility Project. We've kept the streak alive. Most consecutive stretching videos on the internet is still going strong. We had some internet problems where we were this weekend, but we're back. We're going to continue today about our problem solving about deadlifting and setup. Today we're going to take a little bit different approach. And I'm going to post a video sent to me by Mark Bell of someone who basically came off the street and squatted heavy in a pair of jeans and a pair of cowboy boots. And I want you to notice particularly his depth. He doesn't lose his back angle, and his knees are way the hell out over his ankles in that wide stance, which shows me that even cold, this cowboy who's squatting enormous weights has tremendous flexibility. It basically can express that strength in a good position. So when we take a look at that video, which we'll post today, I want you to look at how much extra rotation drive he has. In fact, all the kids who are West Side squatters, who do a lot of box squatting, are really good pullers without having to do a lot of pulling. And one of the mechanisms of that is that they are really good at generating a lot of external rotation force. When you sit down on the box in a wide stance, neutral spine, and really sit back and down and shove the knees out, in order to find tension, you've got to shove that knee out to be able to stand up and keep the torso upright. If you don't have it, then what ends up happening is you have to dump forward. And so it really teaches a big external rotation force, the knees. And what that's relevant in deadlifting is remember that the only ways that I can kind of basically maintain a forward-backwards position and maintain this upright torso is by generating lots and lots of torque. Hamstrings are certainly going to extend, but in order to create the kind of stability I'm looking for, I really need to imagine screwing my feet apart and creating torque in the system. So it's one of the reasons you see so many of the best Olympic lifters with this knee out position, and even in the second pull they've got a knee out into that transition so they can get to transition and maintain an upright back angle. So tonight, what I want to do is really hammer on your external rotators. The external rotators don't only just unimpinge the hip and allow you to get into a good position without smashing in. We know that athletes who turn their feet out a lot basically are going to predispose themselves to overextension. That's going to be a problem. We'd like to have the athlete with his feet straight as possible. To solve the unimpingement position or the impingement problem, what I'm going to have to do is actively unimpinge my hip. So the active hip here becomes trying to screw my feet out. Femur unimpinges. Now I can drop all the way through versus running into my own leg and then closing this with my psoas, pulls me down, and now I'm broken on that start. So trying to imagine I have one hip joint, extra rotate, load the hip. I can do whatever I want. If I want to pull with a soft upper back, I still screw the shoulders tight, get the lats in, extensor, drop the head and pull. So what I'm saying is it's going to require lots of this extra rotation. So tonight, you've got 5 minutes each side. I want you to get a foot up on something, and I want you to try to drop the other leg. This could be a bench, a table, a chair, I don't care, 2 chairs together, the hood of a car. You are going to camp out on your external rotators, and you're going to start all the way over here, doing some exploring through all of these realms. What we're really looking on is flexion, external rotation here, and I'm going to come all the way through and kind of explore all of these regions. Only I know where I'm tight, so that's where I need to hang out, where I feel the tightness. So I'm pushing out, I can push back and load further, I can come over, but your job is to go ahead and hunt down your tightness. A lot of anecdotal reports, people come back after a seminar, they open up their hips and PR on their deadlift by 40 pounds. Because they can generate more external rotation force, they're more stable in their deadlifting. So that's homework. 5 minutes left, 5 minutes right. Cannot emphasize enough. This is to be probably done if you could prep this before you deadlifted, to get into position. But I'd be hammering this a few days up beforehand, certainly the night before, like some of you guys do. If you couldn't do it, I'd be aggregating minutes of this kind of open on my way to the deadlift workout. Next thing I think about. Second concept tonight is work on the hollow rocking position. Some of the highest abdominal recordings, I don't know where this study came from, but you can pull out huge abdominal tension recordings, abdominal musculature, because as I deadlift, my body's trying to explode my back, all the extensors are going to get destroyed, and the abdominals are basically resisting that extension moment by keeping the ribcage in and down, so I've become a long fulcrum at the hip. This is one of the reasons the abs are so important in this position, not just to protect the spine, but to create a better lever. So one of the things that I feel like we don't do a good job of is cueing the abs and kind of getting that stuff turned on because it's been sleeping. The trunk is asleep. One of the best ways that I know is probably doing some hollow rocking
either beforehand. Here's the sub I want you guys to toy with today. It looks a lot like Pilates, but it's not. I pull the knee up, squeeze the butt, point the toe, curl up, back is flat. I'm going to maintain a rigid position and rock back and forth for 50. If I can do that, I do both feet, rigid, hollowing position, toes pointed. Maybe try to get between 30 and 50 rocks. If you're there, no problem overhead. That's the next phase, okay? But I really want you to think about queuing up the trunk and opening the ass today on your way to deadlifting PR, all right? Take a look at the cowboy on the squat and understand that you are a stiff leopard. You got to turn that around. We'll see you guys tomorrow.